self-lovers, welcome to another episode of Komal Speaks Self-Love. And in this episode, we are going to speak about past few months actually. My life has been very mechanical. I can really get myself to do things. As in routine-wise, I'm perfect. I'm showing up to work, working like a crazy woman to the best of my ability always. And like being a great wife, great daughter, but then there's something missing. As in, I'm somewhere, I think, losing the spark of just being a human being, being spontaneous sometimes. And maybe if you are going through a phase like that, or you're simply thinking about how do I be more playful, more spontaneous in life, or how do I bring new things into my life, then this is worth watching. Intuition. I feel that past few months have been really chaotic for me, but then I didn't trust myself enough. Not in a way that, oh, I'm a human being, I don't trust myself and I don't have confidence, and that kind of a way. In a way that there is a voice in me that is knowing what is the best thing for me at that moment, and it knows my values, it's in the best favor of me, but I'm not listening to that voice. And instead I am falling to the routine making voice, which is not a bad thing at all. I mean, we all need to have routine, we all need to have structure, but then what about that kid voice or the motherly feminine voice that says, hey, let's do this today? And why? There's no meaning, there's no value, there's no productivity in that, just because you want to do it. And that in itself is superb, right? um so so my intuition, I was ignoring for a very long time. And even be it any problem or anything that is going on in my life, not trusting this voice, not trusting myself to slow down, getting overwhelmed by how others are going in their life and comparing myself unconsciously, not consciously, of course, but not paying attention to myself and what I want, thinking to flowing or overthinking to flowing. When you drop the judgment, of course judgment is really important. It's not like it's not important at all and your mind is crazy. No, it has to play a very huge role when it comes to um, bringing the life or designing the life that you want. Judgment is truly crucial, but what I'm really pointing at is too much judgment without observation. And when you observe and when you see yourself as just someone who is worthy of love, it it's a total game change altogether. And I've been coming back to myself, back to being feeling like a human than a robot, by simply trusting this voice. If this voice tells you, it's like a very kind mother. If you're trusting this voice, if it asks you to rest, make the time to rest. And if it's asking you to slow down, slow down. Even if you're 28 years old, or even if you think that people are going to take over you, AI is going to take over you, whatever that is, take a break and make time for yourself. And sometimes it takes more bravery than we think it can. And that's where your ability to set boundaries comes into picture. How to set boundaries, that's a completely different video. But then here I'm asking you to look at yourself with more kindness and more intuitively. And the second thing that I wanted to talk about in this video is, what does your mind intuitively want to learn in this period? For me, for example, last year I was so passionate about learning about colors. I am a visual designer at work, but then just thinking about colors in a much more meaningful way, not in a very shallow way, but much more deep. For example, I learned what chakras are which colors and how are they related to our lives. I always thought pink, red is color of love, but the color of love, if in true sense, is green. And it's crazy to think like that. And just being lost in what these colors are, how does it feel inside of my body, and all of these things. And what is the use of doing all this? Nothing. There is no use. Just thinking about it makes me feel so good that I never thought of it this way. Like mind has another way of thinking now, and in some ways it feels like truth, it feels like knowledge, like which was hiding deep inside me, and it's coming out slowly. And of course there is color theory, the psychology of colors and all of that, but there's also what does this color mean to you and what can it mean otherwise. For example, I used to be someone who used to wear a lot of dark colors, but then now I'm someone who wears bright colors. It brings out a certain emotion in me. I have always been someone who hides, or who doesn't show off a lot. But then these bright colors are bringing that personality in me. And if I want to do something very active, I want to be really spontaneous, I choose orange because that's what it feels like to wear orange. So just thinking about what these chakras colors are and how these colors act out, and why not wear too dark colors too many times. There's nothing wrong with wearing dark colors really, but then why not wear it? Is it bringing out your personality? Thinking in those ways, in mundane ways, right? There's no output to it, but then you're just enjoying learning it in your own way. For example, I imagine whenever I'm feeling low or sad, I heard a spiritual teacher say that imagine a yellow golden bubble surrounding you and say this to yourself, that only positive thoughts enter this circle and it's protecting me. I'm protected. And just that feels so calming. So, no, you don't have to speak to yourself with love. No, you don't have to do the exercises of self-worth. No, you don't have to write a letter to yourself. Just imagining being in the, being lost in the, feeling of doing that. I'm learning slowly and building a mantra vocabulary for myself. And maybe there's something that you like, your soul likes, or that you want to explore that is good for you and somehow brings that self-love element in your life. So do that, bring that more up. Learn something that does not make any sense but brings you alive in some sense. And the third thing that I wanted to talk about is how do you bring a spark of wonder in your life? I think when you're lost in that routine or lost in that sadness, what you need is wonder. Like, wonder comes very easy to a child. Like, you show it some fancy keychain, it's gonna be like, wow, this is so good, right? And that's what happens when you show yourself something out of the blue and you go, wow, I've never seen it in this way. And if you are feeling bored or disturbed in life, see if you can see wonders in your life in some way. And one of the best things to do is to visit a park and simply, nature is full of wonder. Like when you see a tree, when you see a unique leaf, that's what makes you feel like, I've never seen such a thing before. What was I doing all this time? And yeah, that's the power of wonder and being playful. See if you want to create something using this wonder. And this video also came to me in a very similar way. I was just simply kind of having a conversation with God. I know it's crazy, but then just intuitively I felt like I am speaking to a very loving voice. That's what I do in the practice of self-love, right? I train myself in such a way that I am constantly speaking to this motherly voice, who loves me deeply. And usually I use my use voice of my mom or somebody who speaks to me with love and all of that. So I was just having this conversation, and I had this idea of speaking on the video about how intuitively, listening to yourself and bringing that uselessness and the beauty of life itself into our life. And this is what I came up with. It was a very spontaneous conversation. Maybe I'll make other videos that are more useful or tackles challenges in your life, but then this video specifically was simply to bring in your inner divine, inner self-love in a more beautiful, natural way. So I hope you enjoyed this video, and if you did, click on the thumbs up button, comment and tell me what you liked about this video, or share an insight. Share it with a friend if you think it might help them. Subscribe to my channel for more videos like this. I love you so much. I hope I will be making more videos like this for you and for myself, because we are self-lovers. See you in the next one.